Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So the entire crypto market saw a bit of an uptick yesterday. Guys, I've got Bitcoin on the chart right now, trading at $20,500. This is it. This is the chart on the daily. We can see over the last couple of days, we have seen a bit of an upward trend for Bitcoin. Throwing it on the hourly, you guys can see that a lot better here. On the hourly, the micro trend forming smaller bullish pennant patterns in here. You guys can see that. We did see a high right up here yesterday of about $21,000. So Bitcoin did hit that peak. It broke 21,000, and now it's trading right back down here. So momentum clearly moving upward. We even saw the market cap go above $1 trillion once again. Right now it's hovering at $995 billion. So just under that $1 trillion psychological mark. Bitcoin dominance down around 39.6. You guys can see over here, the last 7 days, I mean, most of it being over the last couple of days, the crypto market has seen a bit of a boost. Today, relatively flat, so not too much excitement in the market today. But Bitcoin's had a good week, 7.01% to the upside. Ethereum, a huge mover, 18.78%. We've got XRP down here, 1.83%. So not as much of a mover as the other coins. However, we did see XRP really rally about a month ago near the end of September. So I'm feeling like that's when XRP saw its action. Now the rest of the market is catching up. You can see it here with the total crypto market cap. So just bringing up the total chart on the hourly. A nice boost up here of about 7.5% just over the last couple of days. And even just taking Bitcoin out of that equation and bringing up the total 2 market cap. You guys can see total 2 up 8% as of the time of this recording over the last couple of days. So it is not just Bitcoin. Altcoins are also moving. And I mean, let's hope we're kind of moving out of this whole tribalism attitude in crypto. Yassine Mubarak here posting this. This is just lip service from Brian Armstrong and Anthony Pompliano. They came out on the Pompliano podcast claiming they don't like tribalism yet. They shun XRP and Coinbase caves to the SEC and delists XRP. So is this a case of actions speak louder than words? Here's just a quick 30-second clip of what I'm talking about here.
I want the whole industry to kind of collaborate more. Like the divisiveness, the tribalism in crypto is one thing that kind of bugs me. I think it probably bugs you too. And the enemy is not other crypto people. Like we're all pretty much on the same team here. The goal is like, how do we 100x the size of the pie? I'm pro Lightning Network, like all this stuff. But I'm also like supportive of everybody in crypto who's basically trying to create decentralized cryptocurrencies that increase economic freedom in the world.
The tribalism is the problem. Notice, though, the caveat there, how he says, I am all about supporting decentralized cryptocurrency projects that support financial freedom around the world. So, I mean, this could be Brian Armstrong's out, even though we know that XRP is decentralized. I'm sure these jokers still think it is centralized and do think that XRP is the banker's coin that will not, in fact, promote financial freedom. And so, I mean, I'm still not sure about this sentiment. Brad Garlinghouse, though, calling it what it is, anti-tribalism, tribalism club. Thank you, sir. Retweeting out the Coinbase tweet here with that same clip. So we are seeing a bit of movement from Brian Armstrong. I don't know how Anthony Pompliano responded to this. I didn't watch the whole podcast. Nevertheless, an interesting update here. And Brad Garlinghouse even taking the opportunity to call them out on their anti-tribalism club. Wrath of Kahneman here, guys. Posted this. This has to do with Ripple user SentBay. They have been named as the Inclusive FinTech 50 winner of 2022. Now, this came out about a week ago. In Seoul, South Korea, SentBay Inc., South Korea's leading fintech company that specializes in cross-border money transfers and also a Ripple partner, announced today that it has been named in the 4th cohort of Inclusive FinTech 50. So if 50 is a global innovation competition that aims to identify and elevate cutting-edge emerging inclusive fintech companies that have the potential to drive financial inclusion, if 50 highlights high-potential startup fintech companies addressing limitations in financial services for unserved or underserved customers. So a perfect fit for these guys. Founded in 2015 with a mission to build borderless finance and more, SentBay is a fintech company providing innovations in international transactions, both for customers and businesses, as recognized by If50, SentBay's customer-to-customer money transfer service of the same name has made an impact on the market. And obviously, since they have been a Ripple partner, I'm sure that has grown in that region of the world. I mean, considering now they have been named 2022's Inclusive FinTech 50 winner. So just some positive news there with regards to Ripple partner Centbay. Wanted to thank Wrath of Kahneman for posting that. We also have this guys from Mike Manfield with regards to Ripple partner JCB. They are making even more moves this week. I think it was just last week I was reporting on these guys. JCB International, the international operations subsidiary of JCB Co., today announced a new partnership with Trust Payments, a leader in fintech powering truly innovative customer commerce solutions. JCB's growing community of over 140 million card members will now be able to seamlessly make payments across Trust Payments' vast network of online and physical merchants spanning 48 regions in Europe. So boom, expanding payments, guys. 140 million card member customers in 48 different regions in Europe. So this continues by saying relied upon by over 20,000 businesses in retail, financial services, travel, hospitality, and other emerging verticals. Trust Payments empowers e-commerce and point-of-sale capabilities for their global merchants. This JCB and Trust Payment partnership will give Trust Payment merchants more opportunities to generate higher profits and welcome new customers by tapping into JCB's loyal card member community. So they're leveraging their community, the community that they've already built, and they're demonstrating the great possibilities with this new partnership. JCB card members are globally appreciated for their significant spend when traveling and transacting on digital platforms and in-store, both in Europe and beyond. So specifically for the traveler here, makes a lot of sense considering the idea of currency conversion and how that should be more streamlined in a more efficient way. Right now, your credit card company gives you the best rate of the day, and sometimes it's not updated throughout the day. And on top of that, they also ding you a few more points. So, we're really not getting the best experience as of now. But, enter DLT technology, a RippleNet platform where this FX conversion for travelers specifically can be and likely will be more streamlined. This is where JCB obviously sees friction and probably why they are now entering into this new partnership. So interesting move here. Wanted to thank Mike Manfield just for posting that. Crypto Law Guys bringing us the latest. And now Forbes is even calling out the SEC. The SEC is stretching the bounds of the Howey test in the Ripple case to maximize its regulatory power, not to protect investors. So here we have it, guys, coming straight from Forbes now. Federal regulators are notorious for bogging down industries and stifling economic growth with a myriad of regulations, which is why most industries are loath to ask Congress to enact more regulations. Yet, that's precisely what cryptocurrency companies and investors alike are asking for. The fact that Congress has yet to consider any crypto-specific legislation has left regulators to their own devices, to which they have responded by adopting a strategy of regulation through enforcement, as we have been seeing, guys, with the SEC. And of course, this is the quagmire that we're in with the Ripple case. Instead of prescribing what is and what is not possible in this space, they merely react to the actions of market participants and then determine whether what they did is in fact allowable. So a very backwards way to be approaching this. While this ex post regulations are easier for regulators, it leaves us with a market in which those that innovate in this market risk being subject to retroactive punishment and lawsuits. And of course, we know about the Ripple SEC case. They go into this in detail. I'm not going to go over this case. Obviously, we do go over it quite a bit on this channel. So if you do want to read the rest of the article, I will leave it here. Just kind of wanted to bring up this point, though, that Crypto Law is bringing up over here. Rosalind Layton was the first one from Forbes to call this out, and now we're seeing more articles here coming out from Forbes. This one from another contributor, Ike Brandon. So interesting news to that point. And Jeremy Hogan commenting on the most recent briefs with regards to the Ripple SEC case. Jeremy Hogan, all of these amicus briefs in support of Ripple. And yet he says, doesn't the SEC have even one friend that will step up and support it? Retweeting out the James K. Filan tweet here from yesterday, the SEC takes no position on the motions to file amicus briefs by the Investor Choice Advocates Network and Spend the Bits Incorporated, but requests that it be able to respond to its reply brief in support of the SEC's motion for summary judgment. So they just released this statement yesterday. The SEC respectfully submits this response to the motions by Philip Goldstein in the Investor Choice Advocates Network and Spend the Bits Inc. Both motions seek leave to file an amicus curiae brief. The SEC takes no position on either motion, but respectfully requests that in the event that either motion is granted, the SEC be able to respond to the motions as part of its reply brief in support of the SEC's motions for summary judgment on November the 15th, 2022. Why would anybody want to support these guys? I mean, I think their MO is very clear. protect the elites while throwing everyone else under the bus. Oh, and yeah, by the way, these are the people that they're trying to protect or supposed to be protecting. Alex Cobb responding to James K. Filan's tweet over here. After the fifth amicus brief, they gave up objecting. So the strategy is clearly working for us. And, the more briefs that are filed, obviously this is getting tiring for the SEC to keep responding to these briefs. I'm almost thinking that maybe this should have been the strategy that we led with to get this lawsuit over with quicker. Nevertheless, 2 years later, here we are. Jeremy Hogan responding to Alex Cobb's comment here, basically correct. At some point, you're just wasting the judge's time and maybe pissing her off. Ashley Prosper responding, John Deaton's brief is the one they are waiting for. It's arguably the only one that really matters. So here we are, guys, at a critical point. And Jeremy Hogan, I think, hits the nail on the head. The more the SEC keeps objecting, the worse it's going to be for them. And, if you didn't catch the video I did yesterday, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner, a podcast with Nick Burifato and John Deaton. And Nick Burifato brought up a statistic, 90% of all SEC cases tend to settle. And so if that is the case, maybe it could be that Ripple will be the 1 out of 10 that does not settle and go completely to trial. But if that is the case, chances are very likely that this case will settle. And so at the end of this, you want to be able to have as much leverage as possible. And, when you keep pissing off the judge and keep making excuses, it really does deteriorate your image, your argument, all that stuff. Anyway, kind of getting off topic here. Fifth amicus brief. Obviously, now the SEC has just given up. Jeremy Hogan saying they do not want to piss off the judge. And Jeremy Hogan also posting an article from J.W. Verret arguing, among other things, that the SEC is improperly using the Howey test as a whip to drive the crypto cattle into registration. I like that analogy there. Here is the article, guys. The SEC is treating Ripple like a Ponzi schemer, not a shaper of money's future. So, an interesting perspective considering where we know Ripple is positioned in the world of finance and how the SEC, at least at this moment in time, is not allowing them to pass the gates. So the SEC's case against Ripple, the largest case it has brought against a defendant working in the crypto industry to date, has been heating up this month with a series of summary motions and some big discovery losses for the SEC. The SEC alleges that case is one test for a security required to register with the SEC, contained in the 1946 Supreme Court case SEC versus Howey, applies to the XRP token that is used by Ripple. The SEC should admit the secret it isn't saying out loud to the court and everyone watching the case. The test used in SEC versus Howey is typically used by the SEC to sue hucksters, Ponzi schemers, and other con men who sell fake securities. The Howey test is a way to stop them, not a means to facilitate registration with the SEC. So, J.W. Verret bringing up an interesting point here. The Howey test was created for a specific purpose, and by applying it to the Ripple case, they are basically saying you guys are a scam. Not directly saying it, but kind of implying it. The Howey test is usually a cudgel to find frauds that can't register, but it usually hasn't mattered because the underlying project is a scam anyway, and a fraud something not alleged or contemplated in the SEC's case against Ripple. So maybe this is initially where they've misstepped. The fact that this has been traditionally used to basically expose scams, they've been able to apply it successfully in the past, but since Ripple is not a scam and since XRP is not a security, they're having a very difficult time to prove it in this type of case. Crypto projects are unlike traditional companies. There's no centralized board of directors or companies or banks or underwriter in the middle intermediating capital. The state of technology has evolved such that a disaggregated group of individuals can design and deploy computer code that takes over all of these functions. And this is exactly the point. Ripple did not create XRP. XRP was created by a bunch of people who then gifted it to Ripple, and Ripple then decided to utilize it as they saw fit. And again, it's not just Ripple who utilizes XRP. It is the entire XRP ecosystem, the NFT creators, all those developers who are building on the XRP ledger. This article goes on, talks about some more technicalities. I'm just going to continue down here. These broader dynamics are not irrelevant to the decision in the case against Ripple. The judge should not ignore, in a case alleging the sale of XRP should have been registered with the SEC as a sale of a security, that Ripple literally isn't able to register the XRP token. A great point here. As just one example of the complications here under generally accepted accounting principles, you cannot list on your balance sheet an asset you do not control. And technically, since Ripple does not control XRP, this is the conundrum the SEC has found themselves in. asking Ripple to list the XRP token and file financial information about the XRP network, much like asking the same for a party working on another crypto network like Ethereum, doesn't make sense from a securities law or accounting perspective. It would be the functional equivalent of telling Google they must list the internet as an asset on their balance sheet because Google's value is closely connected to the internet. Securities law and generally accepted accounting principles wouldn't allow Google to make such a misleading balance sheet counting the internet as Google's own asset. Google's owned asset, and they similarly won't allow an entity to register XRP or ETH either. The court should take judicial notice that the fact that the SEC's admonition that XRP and every other crypto token should register as a security is obsequious, and that such a forceful statement is misleading, giving the barriers to registration. So, some interesting points that he brings up here. It's only another couple of paragraphs, but I will link this in the description of the video if you guys are interested in reading the full thing. Bill just bringing up this same point. Thank you, Jeremy. And this is a great point in a great article. There's actually no way for Ripple to be able to register XRP as a token. So even if the SEC said, you are selling an unregistered security, and Ripple came back to them and said, okay, how do we register XRP considering we do not own it? Then that opens up a whole other can of worms. And clearly that is the point. Hopefully the judge realizes this. Ripple literally isn't able to register the XRP token because it does not belong to them. And Select Star Crypto here also enjoyed this comparison of XRP to Google, mentioning that even though Google's value is closely connected to the internet, Google cannot register the internet and put it on their balance sheet, as the example says. So some great comparisons and a great article here by J.W. Verret. Got to thank him and Jeremy Hogan, Bill at Balasarius here, and Select Star Crypto for bringing up these important points that I think are going to resonate with the judge. I think at the end of the day, if it is a fact of, registering XRP in some kind of weird imaginary way that the SEC sees it as a feasible option, I think that point will be rejected quite quickly, considering the facts are the facts. Ripple cannot actually register a token that they don't own. So is that checkmate? It certainly sounds like it. Wanted to end this video off with Not Financial Advice's tweet here. Arch rivals XRP and the SEC are set for an epic showdown. The SEC, who may have bribed the refs, awaits the game with undeserved confidence when all of a sudden a faint chant can be heard from the distance. It's the XRP army, and they don't sound afraid one bit. A great little animation here that he's created. I love it. I even love how Elon Musk made an appearance in here right at the end. Where was he? There he is. There's Elon. How confident are you feeling, XRP fam? I know I'm feeling very confident. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.